welcome back to the feature presentation, where movies and music meet. I'm your host, Finale, and today's feature will be John Wick Chapter 4. I could not wait to get into this. So as I need to say it, even though the movie has been out, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Spoilers ahead. Couldn't wait. I'm so glad I get to do a spoiler review for this, because this one holds a special place in my interests. All right, so much fighting, so much action, and being that I do fight choreography myself, I respect this movie's fight choreo more than 3 and 2. Okay, being that this movie is based on complete action, if you're a fan of bullets, neck breaking, people getting blown up, destruction, mayhem, violence, if you're sick like me, you will enjoy this. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go watch it, okay? It is 1, 2, and 3 on steroids. And I believe Keanu Reeves is attempting to establish his for his new whoa. Because, man, he uses this so much in this movie. That's his main response, all right? But it works, okay? So even though this movie has its problems, all right, I mean, a lot of movies can, and subjectively, most movies will have issues, and everybody has an opinion. I attempt to not make my opinion on my own biased thought process. I like to be a little more objective about it, and what would make the movie overall better for viewers in general speaking, not just me. All right, being that it is a very long movie at 2 hours and 49 minutes, and they still cut over an hour and a half out of the movie. I personally think they should have made the movie a 2-part series. Chapter 4, Part 1, Chapter 4, Part 2, or just Chapter 4 and 5. It's a great movie, but there are certain scenes that just went too long. Like there's a scene where the manager of the Continental in New York is literally just walking for 10 seconds in an art gallery. We didn't need to see him walking for that long. Even that being said, it still doesn't take anything away from the movie. Because when I say bullets, I think they were going for the award of most bullets fired ever in a movie. Non-stop bullets, 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 bullets. And there comes to a point where they made a reference. For you hip-hop heads out there, like me, I was like, okay, wait a minute. They dug deep. I had to make sure to see if the director or the writers had something to do with this movie, because the reference for this movie was wild. I did not accept it. And even though it's probably about 2 hours into the movie, if you're starting to tap out from all the gunshots, it wakes you back up when you get the reference. You get excited like, oh my gosh, that brings back memories. They made the illest reference to the Warriors. The whole entire scene in Paris is based on the Warriors making their way from the Bronx to Brooklyn. The whole scene with the radio host telling them where John Wick is at the moment, and that these goons failed and these goons failed. Everything. I was like, oh, wow. I'm sitting up in my seat now like, okay, wait a minute. I'm back in it. Now, I like action. I do like action. It's not a secret to people that know me. But there is a point where it becomes too much. So they do cut back when they have the scene slow down, and then they pick it back up. So it's a roller coaster, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You got some talking, you got another bullet firing. You got some talking, somebody's getting their neck broke. You got some talking, a dog is biting somebody's nuts out their pants. Like, it is wild. Everybody's favorite concierge, Lance Reddick, rest well, King. Not only does he die in the movie, he ended up passing away in real life after the movie was filmed. So that was a hard call for them. Can you imagine you made a movie with this incredible guy, and then you kill him in the movie, and then you come to find out that he actually passes away in real life, and you still have to keep that in the movie. So that's why this film is dedicated to him, as they say, and they stated in the movie. So he gets taken out pretty fast. Now, I'm going to go into some of my issues with the film. Again, the runtime, I think, could have been shorter, or they should have put it into 2 separate movies, because there was a lot of scenes that there seems to be some story missing. There's a character in there, all right? There's a character in there played by Shamir Anderson, who is basically known as Nobody, right? That's what he goes by in the film. So I get the punchline they were going for. You keep saying he's nobody, so you're not supposed to know who he is, right? He's nobody. He's a nobody, right? But that works for the people, the characters in the film, for the plot. But for the viewers, we can know who you are. So what I think should have happened is I in my opinion, which I believe would have made it a lot stick more like glue, is this character, because he had a big role in there. He's known as a tracker. He's tracking John Wick throughout the whole movie. He got the drop on John Wick the whole movie, and he turns out to be nobody. I get it, but I think they should have went with he turns out to be Lance Reddick's character, the concierge, his son, and he was out to get revenge for his father's death, because this nobody character has a dog. He's clearly good with dogs and loves dogs. I'm gonna go into deep spoilers right now. To me, in this film, by now, John Wick doesn't seem like the Baba Yaga. He doesn't seem like the boogeyman. Like, he doesn't seem like that guy. He could have been taken out so many times in this movie. Not like he couldn't in the other movies, but where's the John Wick that everybody is scared of? Where's the John Wick that got this name, this legacy behind him that everybody is scared of? Like, everybody's worried and, they're scared of the shadows. He's walking in the middle of the street, and just your average goon is like, oh, there goes our target. Let's get him. Because everybody in this universe is a hired hand. Like, everybody is an assassin. I thought that they were grounding this more in, our version of reality, but apparently these movies take place in their own separate universe, because every single person in this movie is pretty much a hired hand. And there's so many people dying around people, and they're in the club party and watching axes split people's heads in half, and they're like, hey, we're gonna get back to it. Like, whatever, somebody's dying, somebody's neck is getting broke next to me, somebody fell out of the building, let's finish our tea. And everybody who's drinking tea, who's fixing a car, who's a mechanic, has a gun and is ready to shoot if the money is right. So this world seems like it has to be, there was no establishment of that, right? So the world building was, and there's no cops. I mean, not that I want to see cops, but I mean, come on now. Where are the cops? I get it. You got this high table that is, supposed to be a little nod to our Illuminati. So you don't know who these families are and these powerful, entities are, whatever they are. I mean, whether they're human or not, we don't know, but they're just like all powerful. So I get it. Maybe they have power over the cops. Maybe they have this, but you didn't establish that, right? It's just, okay, I had to put this together. This is a world full of assassins, because this nobody guy who is a tracker comes out of nowhere and always got the drop on John Wick. Saved him a couple times, could have took him out a couple times, didn't. So I feel like John Wick was just getting the pacifier. Like, he's supposed to be the deadly guy, but they introduced two more assassins in this movie that literally could have murked John Wick. Donnie Yen's character, Kane, who he's a blind assassin, which I don't know why. He apparently is good at playing blind, characters, because he was a blind Jedi in Star Wars Rogue One. He is blind and he gets the drop on John Wick. It seems like everybody in this movie got the drop on John Wick. I want to see the Baba Yaga. I want to see how he got this name and this legacy behind him. None of it takes away from the movie, though. It really doesn't. I just think those are things that could have made it that much better. So, that being said, I'm going to go into my slating, all right? For plot, it is no different than 1, 2, and 3. It's John Wick out for revenge, wants to take down the high table. Simple as that, right? Kill everybody that gets in his way. That works for them. I'm going to give that a 2.5 slates. For the pace, again, it was very long. Didn't have to be that long. There were scenes they could have cut that they didn't have to pan out for so long. But it still doesn't take away from it, because we do need a break up from all this action, because they wanted to leave everything on the table. So for pace, 2.5 slates. Atmosphere. Going back to what I said before about them world building, they didn't really build the world too well for me, even in none of the movies. But after, using a shred of intelligence, you can really surmise that, all right, this world is its own universe and it's not like ours, and the high table has all the cards everywhere. So no cops. People don't care about people dying around them, because it's an everyday thing, I guess, So if it's meant to be an assassin's world and the world it seems like it is in, then I'm going to give that 3.5 slates. Okay? I get it. I could look past the reality of it, because that's what a movie is for, right? I want to step away from what I could see outside in this realm. Cinematography was... It didn't really need to do much, right? It's just, you're filming people getting beat up and killed. But there was one scene that stood out to me, and it had me laughing the whole time because they were getting worked. All right, he's hitting them with the dragon's breath, and bodies are flying everywhere, and they're coming from the bird's eye view, so you see everything from a bird's eye view. That was phenomenal. That was glorious. So for that, I'm gonna give the cinematography 3 slates, and I saved performance for last because this was the biggest thing. This is where they let it all out. This is where they reached into the bag. The performance is spot on. I mean, John Wick is John Wick, okay? Yeah, but now he was being John Wick. It's like Keanu Reeves is John Wick, but John Wick knows he's playing John Wick, so he's being a trope of John Wick. So, yeah, he is John Wick, all right? But the fighting choreography for this one, they lost it in 3 to me, but this one, they put it all out there. And that's pretty much why it's this long. They put a lot of work. So salute to the fight choreographers. For performance, I am going to give 4 slates. And for an overall slating, I'm going to give it a solid 3. Only because it was a little too long. And I feel they should have separated it into 2 parts instead of cutting a whole hour and a half out and making this already almost 3 hours. Just make it 2 separate movies. You don't got to shoot the whole magazine, all right? You could reload or you could save some bullets. All right, I'm Finale. This is the feature presentation where movies and music meet, and see you next time.